Welcome back to NoiseROT TV. We have another interview for you today, and I'm hyped. I'm hyped on this one because I just saw this man stop by through town, and it was one of the most unique experiences that I've had with music and listening to something new live. But today we got Ando San. What's going on, bud?
Nothing much, man. Just trying to settle back into being home and being, I guess, a civilian again.
A civilian. Well, you were gone for a month, right? Touring,
Yeah, yeah, for a whole month, the
and then I
entire
saw.
month.
I think you were saying something about like 27 dates you played in the month. So like that's like no time off at all.
Nah, nah. I mean, we had like maybe like 3 off days, I would say. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nonstop.
So what was I guess like really getting into like touring really quickly since we're like on the subject, what's like the good, the bad, the ugly? What all happened with that?
I mean, I guess like touring, this was my first tour, but I picked it up in a week. Like I understood the assignment. I think the biggest thing with touring is planning and making sure that everything is already taken care of before you get on the road.
Mm.
Like, um, I think that is the biggest thing because, being on the road and just getting to point A to point B is easy enough. But like after, you know, you,
Oh.
you gotta have all that locked in. That's why our tour manager is incredibly important. But yeah, I mean, I loved it though. Like, it was the first time I've ever been like across the country, and I've seen so many new places. Like before, prior to me doing this tour, um, I only been to like 2 states.
Okay.
So,
Oh wow. So how what's the number now?
yeah, I mean, goddamn, man, it's like I don't know. I would have to count, but I
Yeah, you're
mean,
gonna
I
have to get
do
a
know
map
that I've
now.
been to 27 states now.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot of an increase in just a month of touring. Just seeing the.
Yeah.
I think I've heard like that's one of the best parts of like touring is that honestly just even seeing new parts of the country. You know what I mean? Or world if you ever like whenever you go like out of the country, but even just seeing outside of your town, your state, or like I said, the 2 states that you'd been to, just seeing the different people, but also seeing like what brings them together, which is in this case music, all in that same
Yeah.
room from like different
Nah,
parts.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Like, it was really cool meeting like all of my fans and new people and stuff. That's what kind of kept me going, man, because this was a really hard tour. So,
Yeah.
um playing music and meeting people was very nice.
Well,
Yeah.
nice. You were I don't know if you want to like talk about this story, but when I like talked to you, like you had been like day three or something, and like you guys had like some sort of mix up in Colorado. I don't know if you've talked about that yet.
In Colorado,
Was
or
it
do you mean
Colorado?
Arizona?
Arizona is the one. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if you want to
nah,
talk about
man,
that.
I'm down to talk about it.
Okay, because that
Because
that was crazy.
yeah, I I was gonna make, I'm back home. I've been trying to settle in and stuff, but I was gonna make a video about all that, and I will. It'll be on my YouTube channel, but I'll
Yeah,
talk about it here. So pretty much, we get to the venue in Arizona. I'm not gonna say what the venue
yeah.
name is because they have nothing to do with it at all. It's
Hmm.
not their fault. They were amazing and they were really cool, and they really wanted us to play, but it just couldn't, you know, we couldn't do it. So
Yeah.
pretty much we get to the venue. We're supposed to be playing. There's 3 places in the venue that you can play at. There's the main room, there's downstairs, and then there's the coffee shop.
Hmm.
So we were going to play downstairs. So there was a main event happening in the main venue, and the guy's name was Benjamin Todd. Benjamin Todd is a country artist, and pretty much, they at that venue, specific venue, they always book like multiple shows at once. Like it's
Hmm.
a normal thing that happens. But when we got to the venue, we were told that we had to be moved to the coffee shop area was a lot smaller than the venue than the second room downstairs. So
Mhm.
the reason why we had to move is because Benjamin Todd thought the sound was going to leak up from the top of the venue and mess with his sound.
Yeah.
So he told the promoter that we had to be moved to the coffee house. So we moved to the coffee house, setting up merch, getting everything into the room. And then Joey, the drummer, he was they were we were about to start sound checking, so he started playing the drums.
Which is what you do.
5 minutes, yeah, 5 minutes later, the promoter gets called to the main venue. And Benjamin Todd pretty much gave him an ultimatum and told him that, hey, if this is too loud, if they play, I'm not gonna play. So they pretty much had to cancel our show because of
That's
that.
and what pissed me off about that is like the anytime like a somebody who thinks there's something uses like that influence to push it, it's just petty, you know what I mean? Like you had already had them move, had y'all move from
Yeah.
one venue, which is they do that all the time, like you're saying, like they have multiple shows going on at the same time. Like the bleed over obviously is not an issue, otherwise they
Yeah.
wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, they
And
wouldn't
then
be doing
yeah,
exactly.
and then you get moved to a smaller place even further, like from that one to lessen that, and it's like no, I'm just annoyed, and I know the way like he said that, and like he's even like going up to the promoter and being like, hey, they need to be moved, or I'm not gonna play. No, he damn well knows that he can throw his weight around like that, and it's just
Yeah.
like that's the bullshit part of it. Like that's the part that like is gonna
Yeah.
piss anybody
Nah,
off, you know what I
yeah. I
mean?
mean, like that guy is an asshole, man. I'm just gonna say it flat out because like it's just so inconsiderate of us because that show could have helped us. People wanted to come out and see us, um, you know, and it just sucks, like that dude's a dick. I'm sorry.
No, yeah,
Like
one of the big things I
I
always hear, like in the industry and business and anything, it's just like you don't fuck with people's money, and like that's what
yeah.
that's doing. You know what I mean? Yes, like
And I
people are
like
going out there.
sh you know I get I get what he was worried about, but he was just being a diva the entire night. And from what I heard, he was a nightmare to work with. Like I don't know, man. That
Yeah.
guy sucks. That's all I have to say.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of get that out there because I feel like we need to spread that word around. This guy sucks.
He
um,
does.
but yeah, I want to talk about your particular style of music because um you're probably my first exposure to anything like this, which was I mean a term you coined, I think, is prog hop, and you were
Yeah.
talking about it. And I think when I asked you, you said it was a mixture of like if Tosin Abasi and Flying Lotus and Thundercat had a baby. Which like when I saw it live and listening to the music, I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. But I want to know how that even gets started for you. Like, how do you decide to mix these
Yeah.
things
I
up?
mean, like I've always been like a hip hop head. I've always been like a metal head. I kind of got into metal on my own, but my family, I mean, I don't know, it's just nothing but hip hop in my family. Like my brother-in-law rapped, my cousins rapped, my other cousin was like a beat maker. So it was just like around me all the
Mm,
time. And I guess one of the things that I've always wanted to do was just to kind of combine the two genres, but not in like a corny way.
yeah.
Because a lot of times, like when people try to like mix the two genres, it gets hella corny and
Mm,
like they don't understand the culture of hip hop and like what makes it what makes it hip hop, like just the essence of it. So like, a lot of times people just like match some really corny rap with like some weird genty guitar, and it just never. I don't know. For me, it doesn't hit. But I feel like
Yeah,
I found like a good medium because I don't know. I grew up kind of learning how to make beats because of my cousin. Um, I was using like FL Studio at the
nice.
time, and I was using his stuff, and it was only like it was weird. It was only for like a month because I remember I used to stay over at my auntie Riki's house, and my cousin Matthew, amazing, amazing producer. I hope he's still making stuff,
Yeah.
but I yeah, like he just showed I made like a bunch of crappy beats, but like I've always kind of like and also I've always been like a rapper in secret. Like
Rapper
I
in
guess I
secret.
would
Okay.
yeah, I would say like more of like a poet than anything because I wrote a lot of poems.
Mm.
Um but like then we get into the metal side of things. Like I was huge into death metal and black metal and still am. Like I'm still like a huge death metal, black metal fan, tech death, all of this stuff. But the first time that I wanted to play guitar was when I saw Animals as Leaders live at Summer Slaughter, and I was like 15 or 16 at the time. And I saw Tosin play and Javier, and of course, and that made me want to play guitar because I just liked the way they were doing it. So I started picking up the guitar when I was 16. Prior to all that, though, I was a death metal vocalist in a death metal band. So
Really?
yeah, I was all over the place, man. Like
Yeah.
I really was. Like I listened to everything when I was young. And I'm just glad that I kind of like embraced more of the hip hop side of me because like it was just embedded into me as, when I was growing up and
Yeah.
it's an integral part of who I am, and um I guess just when I started this project I just wanted to make music that made me happy because prior to this, I was in a prog metal band called Incipients, and we were working on our EP. And then I started Ando San on the side. I was working on my EP Vitality,
Mm.
and I just kind of fell in love with that more than the Incipient stuff. And I quit Incipients. I think that was the best decision I've ever made because since then my career has been going very well. So
Completely diving into something that you, like you said, that you actually like love doing is
yeah,
the most, I think the most integral part too, like being successful in like in art and music, something like that. Because you gotta, if you love what you're doing, like you're gonna do it even more. Like you're gonna put,
yeah,
you're not gonna half-ass it because you love doing it. You know what I mean? Like
no,
it, and it's
definitely.
it's a subject that I feel like I keep coming back to with like different artists that I talk to, and it's a lot of that. It's like, man, like then I just started doing stuff that made me happy, and it's kind of weird because like you think that most people would want to start there, but a lot of people end up there, like
Yeah.
because it
I
takes
think it
them
was,
trying. Yeah.
yeah. No, you're right. But it was more of just discovering because I was still kind of trying to understand myself.
Hmm.
And I feel like I'm still discovering who I am as a person. I just change a lot. Like
Yeah.
I've accepted that because, and that change is expressed through the music because, for a while I was instrumental. But then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start rapping.
I was
You
literally
know?
about, that was like on my list of stuff because I know you started off like a lot of the music was just like instrumental.
Yeah,
When you at that time, that's when you were like you were saying like a rapper in secret or more of like a poet.
yeah,
When did you,
definitely.
and then which song or which project was the one that you're like, you know what, I'm gonna just put some of this stuff on here?
Intuition,
Yeah.
um, which is funny because I think the projects that have my vocals on it are some of the best music I've ever made. Um, but like it didn't really do well. It didn't do well in the sense that like the instrumental guys weren't rocking with it, but I was introduced to a new audience of
uh
people when I released those projects, and I got to befriend some of my musical heroes because of the albums that I had vocals on. Like, I
Yeah.
Seeing Pastures, my new album that I released, I was able to work with Justin Brown.
Yeah.
Justin Brown is the live drummer for Thundercat, and
Wow.
I used to watch his videos when I was younger, like all like I'm talking like 15 years old, bro. Like,
Damn.
so the fact that I was able to link up with him, and the only reason why I was able to link up with Justin Brown is because of my album Bipolar. That's another album that didn't really do as well as the instrumental stuff, but the connections that I've made are monumental because
Mm.
I was able to meet and befriend, like I said, some of my musical heroes. So I've made some crazy connections. I've also gotten some crazy good gigs because of those albums. Like the album Intuition didn't do as well, but I that album got sponsored by this glasses company that I partner up with, which I'm wearing. It's called Time.
Oh,
So
really?
I was able to get the EP sponsored. We did
That's
like
so dope.
a bunch of music videos for the album or for the EP and stuff. So it's like, like it didn't do good numbers wise, but the connections I made in the industry are, you know,
Just skyrocketed
yeah,
with vocals, and yeah, I mean, and your particular style, and going back to like that that authenticity and like you actually being part and understanding the culture. I think that comes through in the vocals, like you were saying. It's not just like, hey, I'm gonna throw a rap over this instrumental, you know what I mean, and just like hope it mixes. Or it's just over. Like you're treating it as a track in its entirety, where the vocals make sense with the instrumental that you're
yeah,
creating. You know what I mean? It's not just slapped on top.
yeah.
And I think that's a big part of it. And again, like there's like probably way better ways to describe it, but it just makes sense. Like it feels like a natural flow, like to the song. Like I think,
Hmm.
I mean, one of your most like recent releases, like "Bad for Your Health," just like that
Oh
whole
yeah,
track is just so dope. It's so like, it's the energy like flows so great. Even like at the end, like when it starts getting a little heavier at the end, like all that like flows together with like the aggressiveness of like what the flow like sounds like, makes sense to progress into like that ending riff. Um,
yeah.
and I like that. Again, it goes back to it making sense. But yeah, do you think the transition of like, was it the your initial fans that were just like into the instrumental music? You think it was the transition into vocals where they're like, nah, I don't mess with this? Or
Mm,
was it just like I mean, there's a market for instrumental music, so I don't know if that's another thing. Like people would just have like instrumental playlists and stuff like that.
yeah. No, I think my fans, it at first, like they were kind of apprehensive, but they've just kind of accepted it because it's still me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it still has my sound. I would say Seeing Pastures, the album, is the perfect piece of work that I made that encapsulates my instrumental stuff and the hip hop stuff. Like it's just a perfect mix of of both of the worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when I released that album, people started to really understand what I was trying to do. You know,
Yeah,
um,
seeing the
yeah,
vision.
yeah, and like I still feel like people, people mess with it. And like my newer fans mess with it as well, and the old ones do as well. Like they a lot of times what I get with that album in particular is like, oh, it sounds like Scheming Season. Oh, like it sounds like Bipolar. Like
Yeah.
you probably, yeah, like Scheming Season is an instrumental album, and then Bipolar is the second album that released that had vocals on it. So
Mhm.
it's like a
The
good
bridge.
mix of, yeah, a good bridge between those two projects. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I don't know. I Seeing Pastures, I was very happy with that one because I thought that album did well. And I'm
Mhm.
still promoting it, honestly. It's been out. for the entire year, but I'm still
Yeah.
pushing it, you know?
Yeah, well, I've heard that a lot where like you need to keep pushing music that you've released a while ago, even though like for you, you're like it's like, well, it's been out, or like you might think that like, well, my core fan base, has already heard this. Like, why am I still promoting it? But
Nah,
new
yeah.
fans
New
get created
people.
every day, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you get again, you get someone like me who just like recently kind of discovers you through,
Yeah.
through booking through NoiseROT, and I'm just like, what is this? Then I'm going back catalog, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
okay, like what else is here? And I get to go through it. But yeah, like, again, you have people rediscovering stuff, and you want to make sure like, hey, you don't miss out. I've put out
Yeah.
some other like really cool
And
stuff.
honestly,
Like,
yeah, yeah, like I promote all of my projects. Honestly, like I, I don't know. There'll be like months where I'm just like posting old songs,
yeah,
or like, you know, other months where I'm posting like new songs. Like I go back and forth, but you know, I just think Seeing Pastures is really good. Like I honestly, my whole heart think is a really good album,
yeah.
and I feel like it's still trying to find its audience.
Yeah.
If
So
that
it,
makes any sense.
no, yeah, yeah, it does. So it deserves you to give it that
Yeah,
push. You know what I mean? Like that's the
that's
thing.
why
You
I give it so much love, man. It's because I give it more love than any of the other albums I've made because I just think it's so good, man. Like, yeah.
yeah.
But I'm of course I'm working on new stuff right now, and I have a EP that I'm gonna release next year. This year it was just kind of like singles and stuff,
Hmm.
but next year I want to release some projects.
Nice. How does your work? I mean, you're talking about like you release singles this year and EP next year. Do you is your writing process like I'm gonna sit down just write one off right now, or is it like when inspiration just strikes
It's
versus
kind of like it's both, you know. I'll try to sit down and write some, but then like I try to sit down and write something, but then I also try to just sit down and let it come to me. And
Mm,
I think that's when I make the best music when it just hits me.
yeah.
And like I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna, you know, I didn't really feel that on the tour, which was weird.
Mm,
I had like no inspiration to write music while I was on tour. I just kind of want to get the tour out of the way.
yeah. It's a lot. I mean,
I
there's a
feel,
lot going on. Yeah, on
yeah,
tour.
I feel more inspired when I'm in this room by
Like your own.
myself.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it makes sense. Like on tour, and people have luck, I think. But you like you're saying, this is your first like pretty big tour, and there's a lot of new stuff going on. So your
yeah.
brain has to be constantly aware of so much.
Yes, I was locked in.
Yeah,
I
so
was
it's kind
hella
of
locked in.
there's no room for like it's like anything else. So you're like, just I'm here. I'm just trying to figure out how to get from this city to the next, and playing
Yeah.
tonight. That stuff. But yeah, I mean, the good thing is like when you're home, you have your own setup to do all of that, which is dope because I saw you post up a picture actually not that long ago. I think maybe yesterday or 2 days ago of your first setup. Um,
Oh
I
yeah.
think, yeah, yeah, which I think is so crazy. But I saw like it was
Bruh.
like a whole like endeavor to even get that set up.
Oh man. Yeah, dude. I literally started from ground zero. And even before that, I started from -1. Like that setup was way better than the setup I had before. So
Oh,
I did a GoFundMe
yeah.
because my old laptop died. Like it just and the laptop I had it since I was fucking like 16.
Oof.
So it was yeah, since I was in high school because my mom bought me that laptop
Mm,
and for the longest time I wasn't using it. And I started using it um I would say like when I moved in with my sister
mm.
at the time. And I'm trying to find that post. I'm trying to see what year I posted that.
I
I keep
I
that
could have
post on my
sworn it was like,
Instagram.
yeah,
I keep that post on my Instagram to constantly remind me of like the grind.
yeah.
Because I'm just like, I look at that, I'm like, dude, like at that time when I had that setup, I was grinding, man, like nonstop. Like it was crazy, bro. I look at that and I'm just like, I pull up that picture from time to time while I'm in my studio, I'm just like, yeah, I gotta work, bro. Like,
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you need, man, first of all, you need like reflections like that. Cause I don't know about you, but like sometimes I get in my head and I'm just like, dude, I haven't done anything. Like, or I'm like, I'm not, or not even that. It's like, I'm not doing enough. And all it takes is like looking at like one older video or one old interview. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I've done a lot. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like, I've started from nothing,
yeah,
and made,
and
and keep
yeah,
making something,
nah, definitely. So that was 5 years ago. So I was 23 and 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. Yeah, I had that laptop, that old piece of crap laptop for 7 years, and then it died on me. Did a GoFundMe, got the money, and bought myself a new tower, but it was pre-built.
Yeah.
So now I know how to build computers because I've upgraded my computer enough times to where I'm like, okay, like I know what I'm doing. But
Yeah.
before, like I had no idea, you know.
It just got,
Um,
it's like, got something. I need something.
yeah, yeah, and it was a huge upgrade for me because prior to that, like the way that I was mixing music, I had to so the laptop had a terrible processor, so I had all of these plugins and in the sessions. So in order for me to hear my mix, I had to like turn certain things up, EQ
Uh,
certain things, but I
yeah.
couldn't press play because it would just it was it would lag.
Yeah.
Um, so I would have to bounce the audio to listen to my mix, and then like, oh,
But
that
you
needs to
couldn't
be
play it in session.
yeah, I couldn't
Oh.
play it in session. I couldn't. It was terrible.
Yeah, but you even with that, like you created some stuff, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's
I
yeah.
didn't have an interface. I was using
Well, hold on.
yeah, I didn't have an interface. I was using at the time I was using like this Lionheart. It was like a Laney amp, and
Mhm.
it could be used as an interface, but it was terrible. I mean, I was tracking guitar with some of the worst latency of all time. It
Oh
was
my
bad.
gosh.
And that's how I made my first EP Vitality. So, like and
Wow.
I'll listen back to that EP. I'm like, man, it sounds like shit. And it does. It does sound like shit. But it's good shit.
Yeah. That's yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, you gotta,
Yeah.
man, you gotta work with what you have. Like honestly, like that's how you prove to yourself, like, do you want to do this shit? Like, then
Yeah.
take what you got and do it. Like, you know what I mean? You can. I've ran into that so many times with anything that I want to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like when because we have a podcast too, and then when we started that, we had like it was like, what do we have? And we had more than most. Like we had an interface, we had a bunch of mix max like matched mics and stuff, and we shot it in the living room and stuff like that, but made it happen. You know what I mean, like you bring something
Yeah.
with whatever you got, and you're gonna keep doing it if that's what you want to do. You know what I mean? If you bitch out and be like, nah, the shit, I need to have all this new stuff in order to do what I want to do, then I'm like, to me, that's like you really don't want to do it then, because if you
Yeah.
did, you'd figure it out. Um, but yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, no, I'm glad that you kept going, because you've definitely like made some cool stuff out of it, and like I said, you've only progressed from there. I did want to talk about like creatively when it comes to like I said, you didn't start adding lyrics till later on, but since you write instrumentally, when it comes to adding like, I guess, emotion when it comes to songs. I know you post actually, you put something up today, of a song you wrote, and it was for your sister that passed away. Which
Yeah,
first, I'm
yeah.
sorry for your loss, but um how do you go into writing like emotion into the instrumental part to it and the lyricism of it?
I see. I think in terms instrumentally, like in terms of instrumental sounds and music, when I'm trying to match the lyrics to the song, I kind of want to match the energy of the instrumental or just the nature of the song. So like if I'm writing more of like a melancholy chord progression where things are a little subtle and dark and timbre and whatnot. Um, I'm probably going to try to match the mood of that instrumental track with the lyrics that I'm going to write.
Mhm.
I know I'm going back to Seen Pastures, but the whole theme of that album is me contemplating quitting music.
Oh wow.
So, yeah, so like the entire album is me basically battling with my thoughts and whatnot. And it starts out with Seeing Pastures, which is the title track and title track of the album. Um, and essentially, Seeing Pastures is me answering that question right from the start. So, like, if you read the lyrics of that song, I'm talking about pretty much how I'm seeing the pastures, right? So I'm seeing the grass on the other side, and it's beautiful, you know. So it's like me accepting the fact that I am going to continue doing music, but then after that, it's just like a, a ton of just me battling with my thoughts on the matter of like wanting to quit music and whatnot. And then My Nirvana, that song in particular,
Mhm.
the reason why I titled it My Nirvana is because um I felt like I kind of like accepted my sister's death and I was kind of at peace, but I had to go through so many little battles in my head to get to that point because it was weird because her ashes they were in the house
Mm.
and that really fucked with me mentally. That I every time I walked up the stairs, I saw my sister.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It was really weird, dude. Like I was like, man, what the fuck? So that's why I had to. And the song is just bloody tears in my eyes. I decide when I cry, when I die.
Mhm.
Um, what do I say? I just sang that song right now.
Yeah.
Bloody tears in my eyes. I decide when I cry, when I die. Targeting the soul, let it fly. I arrive to the center of my essence, begging God to take my blessing. Even if I want to see, I gotta see if I bleed. My sister's ashes in my bedroom. Gotta see, yeah, gotta see if I feel is it real. Longing for the peace of my nirvana. Gotta chill. And I just repeat those lines,
Mhm.
and all of that encapsulates how I felt during those years of me trying to accept my sister's death. But I don't know. I hope I'm answering your question because I'm just kind of rambling on.
No, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like that. So going back to like how I write lyrics, like see, Seeing Pastures had a theme, so that was really easy to do. But like
Mm.
when I'm writing like singles and stuff, it's a little bit harder because I'm like, what do I want to talk about now? Like, what am I doing? Like Bad for Your Health, that song is about being broke
Yeah.
and struggling on rent. So I wanted to write about that. And the reason why it's titled Bad for Your Health is because I had a lot of negative affirmations in my head. And the entire song is me saying how fucking broke I am and how much of a piece of shit I am, and that's bad for your health. So that's why,
Ah. So
yeah.
the you a broke boy is going to yourself.
Yes, it's going to me.
Oh, oh, damn. No, I get that because I do that shit too.
Yeah.
I talk the
So
most shit about myself, like real talk.
yeah, and that's bad for your health, dude.
Yeah,
That's not
no, it
good.
really is. Yeah.
So that's why I named it that. That's why the song title is that name. But um,
Okay. Okay, so that
yeah,
that makes more sense. Like, yeah, approaching a project if you know it's gonna like be a bigger thing, like an EP or an album, then you're gonna like, oh, I got a theme for everything, and it's kind of easier
yeah,
to kind of flow in and out of it. But
yeah.
yes, singles is like, what's going on right now? Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly, and even with I would say this next EP that I'm working on is kind of all over the place. Um like I would say everything is going to mesh really well, but I also feel like things are going to be kind of like random because I have one song talking about like how dope I am, and then I have another song where I'm talking about my mental health.
Nice.
And then
It's all
you
about
know.
balance.
Yeah. So
That's all it
it's
is.
it's just hella random. So like there's like a lot of fun songs on this next EP. And then there's some songs where you gotta like really read between the lines to understand the meaning of my lyrics. And I feel like that's a lot of my music. It's like, you know, I'm like a huge Mike Earl Sweatshirt fan, and I
Mhm.
really like the way that they write their lyrics, and I think they're really great lyricists. And you know, you got to read in between the lines when you're trying to understand their songs.
Yeah.
So
More
yeah,
more than just surface level stuff.
yeah, nah, it's not surface level at
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I would say, Scene Pastures is not surface level. Like you have to read the lyrics and kind of like put yourself into my shoes to kind of see what the hell I'm talking about. You know?
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah,
You've mentioned a couple names that you mentioned like being able to create these connections like with the music, and then when you added vocals even more so.
yeah.
What are some you would say like I'm not even like dream collabs, you know what I mean? Because like
Mm.
honestly, like in the traction that you're going and stuff like that, like they're not. I don't think anything's really out of the realm like of possibility. So like, who would you like to work with?
Man, for one, Flying Lotus, that would be amazing. Like I would cry. Flying Lotus, Erica Badu. I mean, Tigran would be really sick. Tigran.
Okay,
Um, and then there's so many people.
yeah,
Gorillas.
gorillas. Damn,
I'm a huge Gorillas fan. So like I don't know, Gorillas, Tosin Abasi.
that'd be sick.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some more. Um, Chan, but they're not active right now.
You could bring them out. You can't fight. You could bring them
Yeah,
back.
I mean, honestly, any of the members in Chan, like Mario, Eric, any of those two would be sick.
Yeah,
But Thundercat would be a huge one. I mean, he's like one of my biggest influences. So, um, but yeah, those are some of the people, and I have way more people like Little Dragon, Hiatus Coyote.
mhm.
Uh, there's a lot of people I
Yeah,
want to make music with, but like it's easier said than done because like you have to make that connection with the individual, and then you have to see if you guys mesh musically. Because just because I like all those people, all those artists' music,
mhm.
we may not fit artistically. So,
Yeah,
but though I mean those are some people that I would honestly love to make music with, you
yeah.
know. Yeah.
That sounds sick. All of those like sound like they would be really cool, like parts, like additions to like the music that you're making. Like I think
Yeah.
I mean creatively it'd be cool because it's a mixture of like influences and like it's a mixture of like, oh, this would sound cool with this type of stuff that you're writing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's cool. I guess just before we go, you do a lot. I saw you. So I kind of just want to poke your little brain a little bit about like kind of what you do in your free time because I saw on the road you were collecting like records like on the road.
Oh yeah, I collect records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
you picked up a few. Is that like something that you do? Did you just like kind of as a collection? Or you like actually like listening to the vinyl?
I mean everything. Like I collect records and I just also like listening to vinyl because it forces you to listen to the album.
Yeah.
It's not like a phone and you pick up the album, you get to skip a song. No. Like it takes effort. You have to go out, buy the record, and then you have to put it into the record player. You have to let it sit and you got to listen.
Yeah.
It's the best. I honestly think physical media is the best way to listen to music because you just listen to the entire project as a whole and you get to digest it more.
Yeah, no, I've definitely like experienced how my my brain is just fleeting when I listen to like music now if it's on my phone or something like that
Yeah.
because I can do something else. And most of the time
Yes.
I am doing something else. Like
Yeah.
whether it's like whether if I'm working out or I'm like at work or whatever, like I'm always like not just listening to music. Like there's it's been
Yeah.
it's very like few and far between moments where I get now to just like, let me just sit down
Hmm.
and just listen to music. And I know when like I had when my record player stopped working, I need to get it fixed, but I thought that was cool. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm just gonna sit here. I'm like, there's no way to skip to the
Yeah.
song that whatever. Like, just go through all of it. And I do enjoy like listening to albums like as a
And
whole.
yeah.
They make
Yeah.
sense. They're like I've had this happen where like I'll listen to an album and I only get like halfway through and I get interrupted. If I go back and if it's my first time listening to it, I have to go back and listen to it from the beginning because I think like it's not gonna make sense. Like I'll have to be like, oh, okay, like I've stopped on track 5, but I can't start on track 6 because I don't remember how the rest of the album went. Like I got to know how we got here. But when you do have those moments and you get to listen to like full albums, it's just really special. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it really is.
And Earl Sweatshirt talked about that in an interview. He's like, this person like asked him like how he listens to music, and he was talking about how he thinks playlists are bad,
Mm.
which makes a lot of sense because you're just listening to like one song, and most of the time when people make playlists, they just put the most popular song on the
Oh
project,
yeah.
and they're not even getting the full artistic vision of
Hmm.
what the artist was trying to do. Like the
Yeah.
importance of the album goes out of the window when you just listen to one popular song. So
Yeah.
I try my whole best to listen to an entire record in its entirety from track 1 to track 10 or wherever the amount is. So um yeah. So and it's just I do that because that's what I would want people to do for my music.
Yeah.
So like I know how hard people work to create music. So I'm going to give them my energy back when I listen to their stuff because it's important. Even if I don't like it, I'm going to try to listen to it. You
That's where it
know?
gets hard. But it's I
Yeah.
mean a lot of that is because like our attentions are a little fleeting, like in the most part. So
Yes.
we're like,
I will
I don't
say,
like something, and I'm just like,
yeah.
oh, let's skip it. When I'm
Yeah.
like, what if you just give it time? Like, or what
Yes.
if you
My
just like
intentions
listen to it? Yeah.
Yeah, my attention span is fucked. Like I'm
Yeah.
just, dude. So like social media, being on your phone all the time destroys it. So I'm trying to fix that, and I feel like collecting vinyls and getting I get more excited seeing records on vinyl. Like I remember, it reminds me of how it kind of like helps my inner child because
Mm,
I used to be so excited to listen to music when I was young. Like
yeah.
I mean, excited. And I played at this record store called What's Left Records in Colorado Springs. Dude, I it was like I was a kid again. Like they had so many sick records. I was like, "Oh, y'all got this. Oh, you got this too." And I was just like I was so excited. Like
Yeah.
that reminded me of like, "Yep, this is why I collect records because it makes me excited about music again." So, yeah.
No, yeah, I consume music like with I never really collected vinyl until I got older, but like CDs, like but the same concept of just like
Yeah, yeah.
you were picking up an album, like you were picking like, oh, like I'm ready to hear this entire thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just like gonna put the CD in, oh, skip the track, whatever. Like no, like I'm playing it, and the car, like always the car, like I'm like, oh, let's play it, let me listen to all of it,
Yeah.
and that's the way I like consume stuff. So it does that kind of makes sense a lot. Like the it's kind of just helping your inner child just be a kid again and
Yeah.
be like, oh
The
shit, like
way
let's be hyped about.
the way that you consume art is incredibly important because it can influence the way that you view the art in itself. So, like if you're
Mm,
like listening to something on the phone, it's like you said, it's like really easy to just dismiss it. You know what I mean? Because you may be listening to music, maybe scrolling through fucking Instagram or TikTok or whatever while you're
yeah.
like listening to music. You got so much shit going on, you know. You're not truly digesting the art. You're not hearing what the person has to say. So I think it's
Yeah.
really important.
Yeah, I get that a lot because I got a like friends and stuff that'll send me like, oh, we just like worked on this song, and I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna listen to this, I gotta wait till like I got nothing
Yeah.
else to do, like because I've
There
realized,
was
and you're right,
yeah.
like how disrespectful, like oh, like oh, they sent you something new, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be scrolling through something else while I'm
Yeah.
just getting it to play from one end to the other,
Bro,
and
it's
I'm like,
like
that feels so shitty.
yeah, it's like when you try to show somebody music and they talk over it. I hate that shit, bro.
Oh yeah.
I hate it, dog. Like, if I'm showing you music, you better be fucking listening, bro, because that means like I'm trying to share a special moment with you and you don't give a shit. Like, that's fucked up.
It is fucked up.
It's
Yeah, it's
fucked up,
definitely
bro.
like, damn, this what, and then I'm like, this is why I don't show you shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly, man.
Yeah.
I have some homies that are close friends of mine that do that. And I call them out on it all the time. There was one in particular, one friend of mine. I'm like, bro, I literally told him, I was like, I am never showing you music again because you just keep talking over my shit. Like, nigga, listen to it, bro. Like,
Listen to it.
it's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, damn, damn. I
Yeah,
be
man.
getting hurt, bro.
Yeah, man. Fuck that. Yeah, it's just that's all you do. You just
And
revoke
dude,
you
and
revoke their privileges.
there's records that I bought that I have not listened to, like while I was on the road because I
Mm,
waited to get home. You know,
yeah.
like I was like, if I listen to this on tour, I'm not gonna be able to like, So there's some albums that I've never heard that I've listened to for the first time. I'm like, wow, that was really good. Like I today, like I was listening to a couple. I'm gonna listen to some more right now while I'm cooking dinner. So
Nice. Heck
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's a very like it's a very like special way for you to like to respect art and just have a moment with music. You know what I mean? Like just
yes,
have a moment with whatever's playing. And especially like if it's new, that's why like try just listening to new stuff that you haven't listened before, like is super awesome because you tend to go to like to your comfort albums and stuff like that. But the
hmm
the beautiful thing about discovering just hearing something, like it or not, hearing something you have not heard before just kind of rocks that system like in your brain.
yeah,
They're just like, this is new shit. You know what I mean? Like you're
yeah,
actually like having to use your brain for a little bit instead of like
hmm
tuning out your normal records that you put on. But
yeah, and yep,
yeah.
you're 100% correct. Like I feel like on this tour, I found my love in music again. So that was really good. It made me realize that I lost it,
Yeah.
for a bit, for like a couple years. Like I wasn't really listening to music, bro. I
Mm,
wasn't. I wasn't listening to music at all. But
I
now
feel
it's
that.
different. Like I'm on search for new artists. I'm constantly trying to find something new. I'm also trying to listen to, my favorite artist catalog again because
Mm,
they've released new stuff that I haven't heard, you know. Yeah, I just listened to Mike's new album today and that was
mm,
really good. And I was listening oh, excuse me. I was listening to Earl Sweatshirt cuz he came out with an album, I would say like 2 years ago that I really liked. But he also came out with another album last year. So I think he came out with two projects. I'm just now listening to it,
yeah.
and it's really good. So, um, but yeah, bro,
No, yeah.
very
Definitely
good shit.
appreciate music, and I like that you're doing it, that you made it through like all the the hardships initially to try to just get something done and creative and push through to find the stuff that you like doing and it makes you happy. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
it's done well for you. But I really appreciate that. I appreciate your time today, man. Thank you for
yeah,
making
no
the time
problem.
to talk to me. And dude, I can't wait for you to come by, like stop by again, dude. That was such a good show. I just love hearing it transition into live because I love live music. So hearing it
Hmm
live and it sounded just as fucking cool. Um, just it's one of the things that makes me happy. You know what I mean? Like when that transitions from like, oh, I like this song, listening to the recording, but if I love it live, like that's when it wins me over. I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is fucking great. But yeah, no, I appreciate your time today. I really, really appreciate it. And do you have anything do you want to plug in stuff you kind of
Yeah. I mean, I released a new album last year titled "Scene Pastures." Y'all should definitely check that out. Um, I'm Ando San. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok. I'm streaming everywhere, but most importantly, I have a Bandcamp that you can buy all of my music, and I have some vinyl. I sold out on vinyl on this tour, but I
so
have
cool.
more. Yeah, I have more on my Bandcamp, so you can buy the Scene Pastures vinyl, And we just talked about how important vinyls are, so you should definitely cop one.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, that's about it. I'm coming out with a new EP next year, and planning another small tour next year as well. So I might be on the road again. So
Cool, man. Well, let us know and we'll help push as much as you can, like stuff that you have coming out, stuff that's you need re-release. We'll start, helping as much as we can because we love you. Like we think you're such a like cool artist. And yeah, again, thank you for making the time. But I appreciate
no
you.
problem. I appreciate you, bro. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. All right. That was the interview with Ando San. That dude is so cool. That dude is so cool. He understands like the culture of the music that he's writing. He's doing something new. Prog hop, man, progressive music, metal with hip hop, and it just works. It works well. This dude knows what he's doing. So you guys need to check out all the music. Go back to the back catalog. Check out the vinyl. Check out the Bandcamp. We'll link everything down at the bottom. But yeah, please subscribe. Stick around. We have more interviews coming out. But yeah, this has been another interview with Ando San on NoiseROT TV, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, I'm Ando San. You're watching NoiseROT TV. Yee.